Mao Zedong is one of the great leaders of this world. I finally framed the Cutie Cinderella newspaper from 9/11, the morning of 9/12, the newspaper right there.
That is controversial and far-left streamer Hasan Piker, who has built a platform on anti-American, anti-Israel rhetoric and has amassed a massive following in doing so. But who is Hasan Piker and how did he get so much influence? Let's take a look. Hasan Piker is born in New Jersey to Turkish.
This is crazy. They dedicated the power wall. They dedicated the power wall to my rise into power like I'm a fucking faraway dictator, okay? In a Marxist-Leninist party that seized power over with like military means or something. Like we did a coup d'etat and we took over, and I run Burkina Faso or something. Like what the fuck? I am an American Twitch streamer, okay? I'm not running for office. I'm just an American Twitch streamer who has a political perspective that some, especially in the halls of power, find to be threatening, okay? And it's understandable that they consider it to be threatening because they're not exactly up to share any of that power, any of those resources. They want to continue to consolidate, okay? So there is a threat to them, and if you are a servant of capital, like Fox News is, like many in mainstream, in many of our mainstream outlets are, of course, you find this to be a significant threat, a real existential danger. I don't think it has to be that way, but if you're wondering why this is happening, if you're wondering why Fox News is covering me like this while I'm gone, oh, there's a reason for it. It's because their bosses and their bosses' bosses, I guess, find the level of influence that I have in American politics to be an ever-present danger to their, profit margins, of course. But it is very funny.
Parents, but raised in Istanbul. He has family ties. You'll recognize this guy. He entered political media as the Young Turks co-founder's nephew. That's Cenk Uygur, who you remember very much following in the footsteps.
Uygur.
Hasan Piker starts building an online empire, turning his daily stream that everybody from Rokana to Abdul El-Sayed wants to be on, AOC, and he turned these live streams into an audience of 10 million followers. Part of why he is so front and center as a voice of young Democrats. His political access with major progressive stars appear on his show. They're literally it's like Joe Rogan trying to get on his show if you are a far left progressive Democrat. His radical record, though, cannot be denied. He's called religious Jews inbred, defended Hamas, continues to do that, and apologized after saying that America deserved 9/11. In the latest firestorm, addressed college Democrats in a Mao-style suit. Look at that. And it's interesting, guys.
How is that? He went from implying that I appreciated 9/11 to, and he wore a suit, and it's fucked up. What a high note to end it on, man.
Because just think the list of pro-America conservative speakers that have been booted from college campuses across the country is too long to list. It would take a half an hour to lay them out. And yet here, college Democrats want this highly controversial anti-American, anti-Semitic person to address them.
Well, so how did Hasan Piker become a leading voice for young liberals? Well, our next guest is a young Democrat.
That's what Katie
calling on his generation for platforming Piker. He says that it is reprehensible. He's also the president of Young Democrats of Massachusetts. Jack Perenick joins.
There's something really funny about this because I have no idea who this guy is, and I assume this guy is not even like part of the College Democrats of America. This is like an entirely separate group, right? I don't know who this guy is. But it is very funny that he's just like going on fascist news going on the reactionary MAGA propaganda apparatus to disavow his left flank. Okay. I mean, sure. He's a DGG guy. Awesome. Great. Who cares? You guys have to understand something. Okay. Young Democrats of America is different than the college Democrats of America, first of all. Young Democrats are part of the DNC. They're funded by the Democratic Party. So is the college Democrats, even though they're not very well funded by the DNC. But what you have to remember, it doesn't even matter that this guy is a orbiter of a sex pest or anything like that. I don't even give a shit about the DGG sex pestiny affiliations. What he's doing here is going on Fox News as the face of a young Democratic Party organization, a part of the DNC apparatus, to attack their left flank. You're never supposed to do this, okay? You're not supposed to do this. You should, under no circumstances, find yourself, especially if you feel like you want to have a future in the Democratic Party, or if you want to have a future in any kind of opposition party, you should never genuflect to MAGA. You should never cede on their framing, your opposition's framing in general. You should never turn around and collaborate with them. You should not do that at all. As a matter of fact, one of the few people that does this consistently is John Fetterman. You don't want to be in the ranks with John Fetterman, especially if you feel like you have a future in the Democratic Party. Okay?
Now, Jack, welcome to the show. So you say that young Democrats should be careful about, as you call it, platforming Hasan Piker, inviting him to universities. Why do you say that? Or should we have more open discussion and on both sides? Or you're saying he shouldn't be allowed on campus?
Well, I totally believe in going places where you have to talk to people that don't necessarily think the way that you do. That's why I'm here on Fox News this morning. But I think the most important thing to understand about Hasan Piker is that he is someone who is just totally reprehensible. But he does have this large following. And I think one of the most important things that Democrats can do, go out there, talk to his followers, talk to the people who are disaffected with both parties and are listening to him. But platforming him, I think, was something that was almost immediately met with severe backlash. Why do you think he's popular, Jack? There's a lot of people right now who don't feel comfortable embracing either party establishment, and we see that on the left and the right. I think Hasan Piker sounds a lot more like radical figures on the right, like Nick Fuentes, than he does like a lot of Democrats. And I think he said it best himself. You know, he came to this convention to speak and used half of his time defending why almost everyone hates him, and the other half of his time.
This doesn't make sense. You can't, on the one hand, say I'm unbelievably popular and I've been able to capture the attention of a lot of disillusioned young people that do not like either party, and then turn around and say everybody hates him, actually. Like, which is it? Do I hold the levers of power? Am I this unfathomably popular person? Or am I a guy that everybody hates? It doesn't really make sense. There are this is I would say this is the last gasp of a dying movement in general. Like, liberalism is cratering in support, in popularity. It's been the lay of the land for almost the past century, right? And that's part of the reason why it's kind of falling apart. The reason why it's kind of falling apart is because people understandably attribute all of the current struggles that they're experiencing back to liberalism, because liberalism has been the monoculture. Liberal capitalism has also been the only game in town. So even if people don't have the political education to fully comprehend they might personally not be liberals. They might be something a little bit more radical, quote unquote radical or whatever. It doesn't really matter. They just look at it and they go, this is the establishment. The establishment has not delivered for me. May have even voted for an anti-establishment candidate in the form of Donald Trump to break this duopoly with the false assumption that Donald Trump was going to be different. And my point always has been that there is a collaborative effort in certain instances between some in the establishment on the Democratic Party and the establishment on the Republican Party. This is proof in the pudding. This basically proves the argument. When you go on Fox News to attack your left flank and say, oh, his politics are odious, he's very popular, but also very, very unpopular at the same time, and we should listen to him, we should talk to his audience, but we shouldn't actually platform him, you're not making a coherent through line. You don't have a coherent through line in your ideology. It's just simply attack the left flank, and you will go to unbelievable lengths to do so, including directly collaborating with the fascist, reactionary, MAGA, Trump news outlet. You are now going on the same news outlet that defends the Epstein class. You're going on the same news outlet that defends robbing people of their health care, that defends going to war, endless wars. All of a sudden, you find yourself aligned with some truly toxic, truly odious people and some really reactionary politics. And that's the issue, right? That's the issue. The question is very simple. Do you think I am a bigger threat to American politics than the entire MAGA machine? Because now you're going to the belly of the beast. And for many liberals, I think the answer is pretty simple. They've already chosen which side they're on. They do not want to be on the side of the working class. They do not want to be on the side that centers the needs of the working class at the heart of their politics. They would much rather, what is this? Oh, thank you. What? Okay. They would much rather side with the fascists than they would with their left flank. And part of the reason why, this is part of the reason why the Democrats have been objectively unpopular, right? Like, in many respects, those to our left that routinely criticize us and tell us that we are actually rehabilitating the liberal Zionist genocidal Democratic Party's image, there is a little bit of truth in that criticism. Okay, not entirely correct, obviously, because like, what kind of Democrats are you electing is the real question here. Who are you electing? Are you using the Democratic Party as a platform to reach a broader consensus, reach a broader audience, reach the masses with your politics, or are you actually rehabilitating the Democratic Party is the real question. Now, aside from that, though, the criticism is somewhat not unfounded, partially because there is there is an element of breathing life back into the Democratic Party through these grassroots movements that we have been able to build. Not only are we establishing a base, not only are we establishing a machine, but we're also, associating these popular politics with the Democratic Party, even if the Democratic Party fights back tooth and nail. So from that perspective, this is unbelievably stupid. You're attacking the grassroots mobilization that's taking place. That's like unironically rehabilitating the image of the Democratic Party a little bit, right? The association with democratic socialism for Democrats is not a negative one. It's actually a positive one for the broader national party. Okay? Anyway, I got to pee.
I'm attacking the Democratic Party. And I think that's, the kind of speech that isn't helpful to the Democrats, but it is helpful to get an even larger number of people disaffected. But I think that the desire to go out and reach out to the people who are listening to him right now is a good one. And the college Dems, if they continue that approach of talking to people who are very skeptical of the Democratic Party, are on a good path to regain more supporters.
Well, Jack, first of all, we are grateful to you for coming on and talking about this, and we appreciate your willingness to engage. It's a very important part of our country. And I get what you're saying about how he. There are a lot of people in the world who feel disaffected, but this guy talks about very specific things. What is it that from you know a lot of young people, obviously. What is it that draws people to the specific things that Hasan Piker talks about that we all find so repellent?
Yeah, I mean, I think so many people have lost faith in the ability of the American political system to affect change that his calls for a revolution become appealing because people feel that that's the only way. And I think that this goes to the need for Democrats to really show that they're delivering. But I think, Hasan in particular, part of the reason why he's just such an awful speaker and a messenger for this voice, particularly for college Democrats, one of the things I heard a lot about there was his objection to, this is someone who thinks date rape on college campuses is hilarious and something to be joked about. And it was a message that, particularly to young people, it was really helpful to so many of the people who didn't know who he was before.
Oh, he's this makes sense as to why he's a fucking sex pest in the orbiter. That's not true, obviously. No, he is using my criticisms of Liberty University, which Fox News has defended over and over again, saying, yeah, this is a sex pestiny mutant talking point. One of those talking points that mutates into something totally ridiculous. Liberty University did a anti-Title 10, created an anti-Title 10 college campus. And my criticism of that turned into Hasan Piker wants white, rich college girls to be date raped. Bullshit. It's completely fucking made up. It is completely made up. Or Title 9. Sorry, not Title 10. I apologize. Title 9. That's what it is. It was my criticism of a college campus that was expressly designed around not allowing Title 9, not allowing any sort of like date rape or rape investigations take place on college campus to basically cordon off all the rapists that are self-selecting and self-identifying to go there. I wonder if that space even stops and thinks about why they can only get their slander on Fox News. No, I don't think they care. I don't think they care about it. I think they are actively collaborating with the fascists to clean up their left flank. Like, this person's entire purpose here, stop sending me videos about Israeli tourists being evil. Okay, I'm not going to watch that right now. Steve's for real. Please, just take a day off, okay? I just got back. There's a million things that I'm going to cover. I'm not going to look at that right now. Yeah, no, this is cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds in real life, okay? This is what's going on. This is precisely what's taking place. For these guys, they only care about destroying their left flank, and they will go to any lengths they can. They will collaborate with the fascist administration, as they are doing here, okay, with the hopes that the Trump movement only focuses their animosity, their enmity, and their ridiculous legal pursuits that are objectively illegal when they prosecute political dissidents to communists, socialists, anarchists, to these guys' left flank. They don't realize that this actually will inevitably turn on them as well. This machine historically has turned on the liberals that have collaborated and cooperated with the fascists, and it will once again, but they're too stupid and they're too short-sighted, or perhaps they're just straightforwardly fascist and will become loud and proud advocates of the fascist movement, and they won't remain Democrats once that turn takes place. Okay?
Seeing him come out dressed as Mao was really helpful to a lot of people to know that this was not someone serious that was there to talk. And it was, people streamed out of the room. You can't see it in that shot there, but the people streamed out of the room so much so they had to close the doors to the auditorium.
Yeah, he's just making shit up, which is so crazy. Like, none of this happened. None of the things that he's saying that I have said are real. None of the things that happened in that room, like I got a fucking standing ovation you can see in the shot. But this is make believe. Okay? Yeah, everyone that was off camera was actually in agreement with me. They were really frustrated about the way Hasan was talking about the Democratic Party. But yeah, they did show the crowd. It's on the stream. Not that it matters. Why? Because again, I am criticizing the form here. Okay, I'm criticizing the function and I'm criticizing the form. I'm criticizing the medium that this person is choosing to lean into. Okay? Because it's fucking unbelievable. It's unbelievable and utterly unacceptable that someone who chooses to associate themselves with the youth wing of the Democratic Party would actively go on Fox News to criticize another youth wing of the Democratic Party and to criticize a person to their left flank. Okay? It's completely unacceptable.
Stop the mass departure. Four whole state delegations walked out in their entirety. And it was funny that, congressional candidates in R+30 districts got 10 times the applause that he did because people kind of know that he's a hackster, not to be taken seriously.
But does that matter? The fact that he is a fraud, does that matter if you've got millions of people who are listening to him and following him?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You have to go out and talk to the people who think that, right now there is no hope in the Democratic Party. So they're looking for figures like Piker.
Yeah. What's really interesting about this is, like, are you going to present that hope? Is the hope for New Democrats charting a new path forward going to be doing the exact same thing that, Hillary Rodham Clinton did, doing the exact same thing that the establishment has done over and over again to varying degrees of failure? Do you see what I mean? Like, you don't have a vision in the affirmative. So much so that you are choosing to collaborate with fascists. Okay? You're choosing to go on the fascist platform to rail against your left flank. What is your vision? What is your vision for a better future? How are you going to chart a vision in the affirmative for a better path forward that will get people excited, that will get people off their asses and go out and vote, go out and actually push the Democratic Party? What's the vision? Better things are not possible? Would you ever critique moderate Dems? Of course, I critique moderate Dems all the time. But my criticisms of moderate Dems and the right wing of the party is the same exact criticisms that I have for the Republican Party. It's not about the aesthetics. It's not about the fact that I said on Fox News, if I ever went on Fox News, I would have a lot more to say about Fox News, even if I were to actually critique the moderate wing of the party. I would not agree with the Fox News criticisms of the Democratic Party broadly because it's inappropriate, because it's not true. As much as I have, and I would love to go on fucking Fox News, they just won't have me on. They would much rather have people like this on. You will not find me agreeing with Fox News on Fox News. Okay? That's the problem. Like, what he could have said here, if he was an actual, if he was actually invested in like a big tent or something like that, what he could have said here is this: Hasan says a lot of things that I don't agree with, but he says a lot of things that are, truthful. For example, he says that the Republican Party is a firm and committed defender of the Epstein class. And this is exactly the kind of odious politics that Fox News actually defends vociferously. Okay, so let's not talk about a Twitch streamer that has a grassroots momentum backing him, or a movement that is actually breathing life back into the Democratic Party, even if I don't agree with everything that they're saying and doing. Ultimately, the real problem is those who control all of the levers of power in this country, which happens to be the Republican Party, right? The Republican Party controls every branch of the government. They've actually filled the courts all the way up to the Supreme Court with some of the worst, most reactionary judges. They are dominating American politics, and Americans are sick and tired of it. And they're now finally recognizing that voting for the Republicans, voting for the anti-establishment, the fake right-wing sloppulous, is not actually going to change the system. Is not actually changing the system for the better at all. And Fox News has been defending this system, defending the establishment. Republicans, for the longest time, have been able to present themselves as anti-establishment. Democrats, I think, need to learn from that. They need to figure out how the Republicans have been able to do this. Like, there is a way to critique me, even if you went on Fox News. Okay? But he's not doing that. He's just there to rip apart, slander, smear the left flank movement. Okay? That's it. He wants to be, his lifelong dream, I suspect, is to be a corporate stooge, a Haley Stevens type, propped up by the establishment and moneyed interest, and never understanding why the Democrats keep losing. You are being played a fool. You're a useful idiot for the right.
Who are talking about the ability to affect broad change. I think the reality is, though, that there could not be anyone less politically influenceable right now. And it's funny, even in, I've talked to a lot of people. I called his comments reprehensible. A friend of mine reminded me that Zoran Mondami said the same thing about his comments, and I really think that he's, been a very successful person in uniting the Democratic Party against his.
Yeah, they're like, no, Zoran is good, Hasan is bad. True. Fine, I'll take it. AOC's good. Hasan is too radical. Keep pointing to all the... Next up, they'll be like, Abdul El Sayed is good. Hasan is too radical. It's fine. I'll take it. No, I'll take it. Yeah, all of these guys, all of these people that I work with actively, that I've propped up, they all... That means that they are becoming undeniable within the system, within the ranks of the party. They've become so unfathomably popular amongst the base that he can't actively shit on them. I'm sure before Zoran ran, I'm sure before Zoran became the winner of the Democratic Party, or even after Zoran became the winner of the Democratic Party, he still probably had his opinions on him, his negative associations, his negative opinions with Zoran and his politics. But now he can't say anything about it. Why? Because DSA is becoming undeniable. Okay? That's it. Yeah, John Fetterman and Jared Polis, Fox and the GOP's favorite Democrats. Every Democrat that falls out of favor will then go to Fox News to run there and to say, oh, we hate this left flank shit. We hate this stuff. We hate it so much. It's like, if you did, and if you actually had the overarching approval of the entire Democratic Party's base on your side, you wouldn't have to go to Fox News and cry. Okay? These candidates would not even win. My dad even called this out. He thought it was strange that Fox News was praising. They hated like 3 months ago. Exactly.
Anti-Semitic and hateful comments.
Well, and Jack, as you mentioned, he said in his speech to the Democrats, college Democrats, that he is coming for the establishment. And with such a following, as Charlie points out, we'll see where this goes. Jack Pernick, thank you for joining us. We want to have you come back as we continue to follow this. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
All right.